recording, Mark?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Am I recording?
Yep.
Okay, when you're ready.
Well, hello everyone and welcome to Woodford, our 35th festival here, and great opportunity to introduce our Arts Minister from the Queensland Government, who have been incredible supporters of this event. Please welcome Minister Enoch.
Thank you, Amanda. Thanks everybody, and thank you very much for taking the time to be here at this 35th Woodford Folk Festival. And thousands of people have returned to a triumphant return of the Woodford Festival right here at Woodfordio. So here we are. This is a fantastic festival, and of course the Queensland Government has funded $1 million every year for 4 years to be able to support the sustainability of this festival. And as I said, thousands of people have turned up for the triumphant return of Woodford Folk Festival. And I think you can tell by the vibe in the area that people are absolutely thrilled to see Woodford back in full force. It is such an important part of our arts calendar in Queensland. This festival has been the home of some incredible acts, supported many artists and presenters, and of course really challenged some of our ideas over its 35 years. And this particular festival will be no different. With the largest gathering of artists and presenters in the country, right here at Woodford Festival, demonstrating that the arts are well and truly back on top after a couple of tumultuous years of COVID. And of course, Woodford, after those few years, where we saw incredible adaptation happening, and I do want to acknowledge Bill and Amanda and the whole team, all the volunteers and those who commit so much time to this festival, to the amazing adaptations that they put in place during COVID to ensure that we could continue to see those artists supported, and of course the whole idea of the festival continuing on in some form until we could get to this point where we're all back in force for our first Woodford Folk Festival since the COVID pandemic. So the Queensland Government, as I said, very proud to be able to support this festival in multiple ways. The $1 million every year for 4 years for that sustainability of the festival, but also through Queensland Tourism and of course through Arts Queensland in supporting the many acts that are here today, including those who have been recipients of various awards who will be performing during this festival. So a great example of how if you support grassroots artists, that you see them here at festivals like this going on to bigger stages right across our country and potentially internationally. There are amazing acts here, and I'm sure Bill will tell us more about that. But like I said, very proud to be back at Woodford Folk Festival for its 35th festival, but prouder than ever to see this triumphant return. So over to you, Bill.
Hello there, it's wonderful to have Minister Enoch here with that announcement, which gives us some comfort. For many years, Woodford's always been on the edge and it's grown, and sometimes the growth of that infrastructure costs a lot of money to keep going. But this gives us a plan we can plan 4 years into the future and really get this place firing up. And coming out of COVID, that plan underwrote a little risk we needed to happen or this festival wouldn't exist. In fact, I have to say without the Queensland Government, we wouldn't be here. And that's important. For us, it's important for what we do. But what makes us proud is that we are contributors to the economy, and we know that 35% of everybody at this festival is across the border. From interstate, and then on top of that, generally, we don't know this year, it'll probably be less, but usually 4 in every 100 people at the festival has come from overseas. If they're not here this year, we're not sure of those numbers this year, but in most years it's 4 in every 100, and the contribution of that adds up to $25 to $30 million in gross spending, and the economic benefits roll around more than that, so we're proud to be able to contribute. And I give the undertaking to Minister Enoch and the Queensland Government that money will be returned in spades for the Queensland economy, and the taxpayers who put that up will be rewarded with a festival that will continue to grow and continue to generate great economic benefits. It starts there and finishes there for everybody outside this festival, but inside it, for us, we do this for the artists, the development of the arts, folklore, and ideas around all the things that we can innovate inside that space. And I think it's that innovation over the years has been the key to our success. And we've built a beautiful community of patrons, many thousands of people build this community. We had 400 people here for a month building the site and putting up all the fences and signs and doing the beautiful art. And it really is made by the people, by the community. And we don't see ourselves as a music industry event, we see ourselves as a community event. And that allows us to drive it in a completely different way and think about it in a completely different way. And we're very, very proud of the history of employing more artists than any other festival in Australia, more Queensland artists than any other festival. And it's just great to feel contributed, and it's great to feel that recognition that the government has responded, and in particular the person who's been driving that funding, our Minister. Great to have you here, and thank you on behalf of everyone at Woodford. Thank you.
Any questions, guys? Did you want any questions for Bill?
Yeah.
Might keep you, Bill, for the questions.
How close was Woodford to not returning?
Well, it was very close, and I think that's probably true for a lot of other events in the arts. It shut it down. It shut us down. The COVID for all but miniature events we could do. We had to abide by the mandates, which in our view was good. It's kept us safe, and we're still here, and the amount of funding that we were able to achieve in bits and pieces enabled us to hold on to that core staff that was necessary, who had the ability and the knowledge of being able to do an event of this scale. So that was critical, and it got very close there, very tough. It wasn't just the COVID, but there were some really bad weather events and floods and all sorts of things going on at the same time. It's been 3 years of which I'm declaring it all finished after this year.
Yeah, fair enough. Anything else for Bill? Okay, all right. Okay, any questions? Yeah.
What is the government doing for the future of Indigenous arts?
Yeah, so great question. And of course, part of our commitment to our arts in Queensland is our 10-year roadmap for arts, culture and the creative industries. And we've been able to commit millions of dollars now to that particular strategy. One of the platforms of that strategy is First Nations First. So very much focusing on the support of First Nations artists, and you'll see more of that coming forward as a result of our second action plan funded under the recent budget. So it's a great outcome, and of course you see a lot of those artists now supported here at the Folk Festival, and you'll see them right across Queensland. But it's more important than ever that we support First Nations artists to tell the true stories of our history. As we move into a voice to Parliament, as we move into path to treaty here in Queensland, our ability to tell the truth of our history, our shared history, sometimes uncomfortable, sometimes ugly, our ability to tell that through the arts will be incredibly important. Of course, the arts gives us that opportunity to unpack stories, to connect to it in different ways, and to be able to understand it so that we can process it in a healing way and move forward together. So that's why we've been supporting backing Indigenous arts through our roadmap and of course through our action plan, and we'll continue to do that as part of our commitment to the arts in Queensland.
So how important is Woodford to the social and cultural fabric of Queensland, and what role does it potentially play in the lead up to the Olympics?
Yeah, well, as you know, in 2032 we will see the Olympic and Paralympic Games here in Queensland, and we will be on show to the world. And that is our opportunity to ensure that we are absolutely letting people know what our cultural identity is here in Queensland. We're different from other parts of the country, and we want to be able to show that. We're not Sydney, we're not Melbourne. We're Southeast Queensland, and we're Queensland. And the arts, and of course Woodford Festival, will be an important part of all of that. We want to ensure that the Woodford Festival will be able to contribute to that telling of our true cultural identity here in this state as the rest of the world comes to visit us. That's why the $1 million for 4 years, every year for 4 years, will be so important around the sustainability of this festival, so that the festival can continue to really contribute to the cultural identity of our state.
Could you foresee more funding coming for Woodford and the lead up to the Olympics?
Well, obviously, that $1 million every year for 4 years is a record amount of funding for this festival. It has been put in place to ensure that we're seeing sustainability, and there's a great deal of work that will be happening between the Woodford team and the Queensland Government around that sustainability plan. And so we'll let that plan unfold, and of course there's always opportunities for other investors to play a role in this area as well. But look, the other thing is we want more people to connect to the Woodford Folk Festival. There's a crazy rumour going around at the moment here at the festival that Matt Damon's coming, apparently. If that's true, that'd be great. I mean, there's no evidence of that at the moment, but if he wants to turn up, this is the place to come. When you've got the highest concentration of artists and presenters here, right here at Woodford Folk Festival, why wouldn't you want to come and visit and take in everything that this festival has to offer?
I just want to say Woodford Festival was the first opportunity I've ever had in my whole entire 30 years in Australia to have a proper engagement dialogue with First Nations people. Is there going to be a First Nations cultural heart built in Brisbane where there'll be the opportunity for the whole of Brisbane, well, Brisbane is Queensland's capital, to engage in that dialogue with our First Nations?
Yeah, well, obviously, as I've already said, we have been investing in this space for quite some time, and as a Quandamooka woman myself, it's an incredibly personally very important part of what we're doing with regards to the arts, and of course our commitment to that cultural exchange that happens between the First Peoples of this country, and of course all of those people, all of those who call Queensland and Australia home. So that continues to be an important part of the conversation going forward. There has been work already underway with regards to some of the commitments that we've seen for many years now with regards to an Indigenous cultural centre. And that certainly will continue to unfold as that work is done in the next months and years. Nothing else? Thank you. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
On another matter, what do you know about the alleged homicide in North Lakes this morning?
Yeah, well, obviously, absolutely incredibly tragic and disturbing. This is a horrifying act of violence. I understand that the police have already made arrests with regards to that matter. And I also understand that there will be some further conversations and information available later this afternoon. But my heart absolutely goes out to the families affected by this and of course to that community. But as there have been arrests already, we can't go into any further detail with regards to the actual event.
Do you know whether it was a domestic violence situation or was it a random nature? Because it was quite a horrific crime, allegedly.
Well, look, reports thus far make it clear that it is absolutely a horrific crime, and as I understand it, the police have made some arrests, so it would be it wouldn't be correct for me to make any further comments about that. Nothing else? Thanks, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.